Airsoft.
Yo dudes, we're back at Combat Self, and today we're testing the Mark 23 Carbine kit from Silo. I don't remember the last time I was playing without a bolt action sniper, so it's pretty fun to change it up from time to time and go for a completely different game style. The Carbine kit allows you to keep playing the stealthy, silent sniper role, but allows you to be much more active in your playstyle. With no minimum engagement and a semi-auto fire rate, you can get a lot closer to the enemies and hunt people down, as opposed to setting up and waiting for people to come to you. With all that said, it's not all sunshine and rainbows. This Carbine kit has a lot of issues. It seems to have a substantial lack of quality control, and it doesn't feel like a lot of care went into the finer details of the design. The Picatinny rails are poorly printed, and don't form straight-edged square grooves like they need to for mounting things like optics. As you can see in these initial shots, because my scope mount has square guides for mounting, it doesn't actually fit in the Picatinny rail at all, as there's excess 3D printing material which makes the grooves not square. This means the front of the scope was raised, and I almost lost a whole day's worth of footage. As the scope can be adjusted for windage and elevation, it didn't really cross my mind at the time. But because the front of the scope is raised, the camera's facing much higher than it should have been. Since looking back at this footage, I've taken a junior hacksaw and a file to every single slot on the Picatinny rail and managed to fix the issue. But this shouldn't have been a problem in the first place. Along with this issue of all the rails being badly printed, the buffer tube for the stock is also not sized correctly. I've had to wrap layers of duct tape around the buffer tube just to get the stock to stop wobbling. When you're buying a platform solely for the purpose of mounting accessories on, and it can't even do that job correctly, that's a bad sign in my books. With enough said on that topic, into the gameplay. In this game mode, we're playing a two-stage attack and defend game. We're on the attacker's team. The defenders first have to defend a set of bunkers that are positioned in front of a stream. We can't cross this stream until we've cleared out the bunkers. Once the bunkers are cleared, we then have to move across the stream into the village and take out the enemies in this area as well. I've decided to push up the far right and try and take out enemies as I move up. Most of the enemy forces are focused on the left side of the map, so my goal is to move up the right side, silently taking out enemies with the Mark 23, and then shooting across to the left side where I can. take out, calls to his mate and points out my location. I start taking fire and have to jump into the nearest bush I can find. Unfortunately, this bush is already occupied, so I make my way back to respawn. After making my way quite far up the right side, I decide to use the same strategy after spawning. There's a lot of room to move up undetected, and the concentration of enemies seems quite sparse. My goal now is to move up the right side and then cross over to try and take out the enemies at the back of the bunkers. Sniper shooting. I want to sneak right up on him, but unfortunately he sees me coming, so I have to take him out.
Here's a guy pissing.
With that enemy taken out, we've cleared the bunkers. The enemies have now fallen back to the other side of the stream. The bridges crossing the stream from the bunker are heavily defended, so I decide to link back up with James and continue our push down the right hand side. We use the thick forest to mask our movements until we're behind the enemy lines. Then we cross the open road to get a view on the village where the enemies are hiding out. James is using a loud EdGi, so the plan is for him to let me do the shooting until the enemies compromise our position.
James, I think they know. One guy's turned around. Over by the house.
the immediate threat of enemies taken out, I need to move position. Being at the back of the village puts us nearer to the enemy's respawn, so they're for sure going to come back to try and take me out. After taking a few pot shots at some enemies in the distance, and luckily hitting this sniper who decides not to call his hits, I decide the enemies are way too far out of my range. Knowing the enemies that went back to respawn will soon be returning and looking for me, I decide to make a move. I check my mags, realise I'm low on ammo, and with the end of the game approaching, I decide to make one last play to try and take out this sniper who wouldn't call his hits. Now I just need to get in range to guarantee the kill. Mission accomplished. Even though I get taken out, I'm still satisfied.
You can hear me? Yeah. Someone over here. Maybe a teammate.
Thanks for watching, and let me know what you think about the DMR gameplay.